Hello and welcome to the Vegan Corner. Today's video is for a food we all know pretty well, pancakes. Now, we all have a good recipe for pancakes, and due to the fact that they are really quite simple to make, we will focus this tutorial on how to get perfect pancakes at every single attempt, instead of proposing a specific recipe to you. As usual, you will find the exact ingredients we are using for these pancakes in the description below the video. We really hope you walk away from this tutorial with more knowledge about this super famous sweet treat. Are you ready to be turned into a professional pancake machine? A recipe for gluten-free pancakes will follow very soon, which will be a normal recipe and not a cooking lesson such as this one. There are only a few things to consider when making great pancakes, consistency and temperature of the batter being one, proper cooking, thickness of the actual pancake and the color of them being the others. Why do some pancakes end up thinner or thicker than others? Why do some have a uniform brown color, whilst others never color properly? What's the best cooking time? When is the right time to flip a pancake? If you have ever had any of these questions rushing through your brain, then this might just be the perfect video for you. First, let's talk about the batter. Pancakes can be of any size, any thickness and any shape. Although, when was the last time you enjoyed a triangle pancake? Pancakes are best eaten round, in our opinions at least. But if you want to spend the time trying to achieve a triangle pancake, we won't judge you much. Making thicker or thinner pancakes is something we can easily control during the preparation and should never be left down to luck. The best way to control the thickness of the batter is obviously by increasing or decreasing the quantity of flour or by adding or removing milk. Only experience will tell you how the batter should be in order to achieve the pancakes you desire, but if you experiment a bit, you will become a master in no time. What is the best thickness for the batter? No matter what you're trying to cook, there will always be a correlation between size and cooking speed. For example, thin pancakes will obviously cook faster than thicker ones. How much faster, you might wonder? Every time you double the thickness of a food, you are not doubling the cooking time, but actually quadrupling it, because that's how heat travels through food. This is of course not exclusive to pancakes, so you might want to remember that the next time you put something in the pan. Now back to the main question, what are the main differences between thick and thin pancakes, and what's best? The answer is simple. Thinner pancakes are a better option in almost every way. They cook faster, color better, they are less floury, easier to digest, and they also look pretty good. But hey, if you still prefer to eat thick pancakes, be my guest. Eating raw flour has never hurt anybody, that I'm aware of. Something you should know is that color is no sign of pancakes being done. So if you think that your pancakes are 100% cooked on the basis that they have a lovely color, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but that's unrealistic and they might well be undercooked despite not looking it. There are two things in the mixture that speed up the caramelizing process, which is what gives color to the pancakes. The first is the baking powder, which is needed as a rising agent, but it also lowers the pH of the batter, making it easier to caramelize. The second thing is the sugar. The more sugar you use, the more color you'll get. As I'm sure you can understand, neither of the ingredients speed up the cooking process. They only speed up the coloring process and lower the temperature at which it occurs, which has nothing to do with cooking the flour contained into the mixture. So how do we know if a pancake is really cooked? Exactly as you would do with any other food you put in the pan, by guessing. Unless of course you have a fancy and expensive equipment such a laser thermometer. And what is the right temperature for the pan? Once again, you'll have to make a guesstimate here, unless you have access to some fancy and rather expensive equipment. However, for the sake of being thorough, a temperature that will allow to cook the pancakes in a correct time is somewhere in between 230 and 260 degrees Celsius, or between 460 and 500 degrees Fahrenheit. But be warned, if you use a non-stick pan, the non-stick coating starts to decompose and becomes toxic at temperatures over 500 degrees Fahrenheit or 260 degrees Celsius, so you might want to be double extra careful in this case. What about the cooking time? Is there any rule? If the temperature of the pan is right, or at least close to the ones we mentioned a few seconds ago, your pancakes will cook in 45 seconds to a minute on the first side. If they are properly browned in less than 45 seconds, they are likely to remain raw in the middle. However, if they take longer than a minute to cook, they might end up overcooked. is there a right moment to turn the pancakes over and cook the other side? Some say that they should be turned when the surface facing you becomes dry, and others like to turn them when some bubbles appear. These are both good solutions, and it really depends upon personal taste and quality of the butter. Personally, I like to turn pancakes when the first side is properly browned, which also happens to be when the surface facing you is dry. And how long will it take to cook the second side? Roughly half the time of the first side, as there isn't really much left to cook at this stage. But again, this only depends on how properly the first side was cooked. Now to the most important thing of the video, and then I promise I'll let you go. When it comes to pancakes, make sure to prepare a lot of them, otherwise you'll be very sorry when they're finished, especially if the recipe you followed was a good one. And here you have the final pancakes. If you followed the video paying attention instead of spending your time drooling, by now you should have a degree in pancake making. I hope you enjoyed this informative tutorial, which hopefully turned you into a master pancake maker. And if you now feel you could make pancakes with a blindfold on, then give this video a thumbs up to let us know that you enjoyed it. Many thanks for watching, and to the next video.